so we will cover the concept when you are creating API product as a API producer basically, or API provider. When you create an API product, so that it can be, your API can be consumed by a developer who will create an app. So for that, how would you how, what would be your strategies? How would you create a product, right? What you will be thinking, or what are the things? So to understand that, first let's before going to API product, we'll just take a step back and understand in a traditional sense, in any traditional sense, what exactly is a product. So product basically is a good or service that meets the need of a specific audience. Okay. So this thing, so here basically anything, right? When any home appliance, car, whatever, right, you purchase, it really meets the requirement of the people, right, who have a need for that specific thing. So usually when you provide any product or purchase any product, it comes with a there will be some, for example, you buy a mobile phone, it will have a proper documentation which will specify what are the functions, what are the features, how to use it. Same comes with any, for example, any other electronic item, right? There in the cars also there will be user manuals and everything. So there will be documentation, user manuals and all, which will tell about the feature and all and how to use it, correct? And obviously when you are purchasing any product, you have to pay the price for it. You buy the product, right? So you pay the price. Okay. Now the same concept is applied in the field of APIs. So in the field of APIs, what we do is when we package the API that meets the need of a specific audience. Okay. So when there are certain kind of developer who need to make some API calls, okay, which sometimes can be part of a single API proxy, or it can be combination. So you as a product manager or product owner, usually you will understand the requirement and you create a API product accordingly. And obviously for whenever you create API product, you provide the documentation. So usually for documentation, we create a open API specs or Swagger file. That documentation will describe the APIs, okay, their features and how to use them. Okay. And then obviously if API is monetized, in that case you can charge also. Otherwise, so in a pin of API, you might not always monetize the API. Sometimes you monetize, sometimes you don't. Okay. So but yeah, you if it is monetized, you yeah, add your pricing or you list your pricing also, right? So now the next question comes, how do we design it, right? So when you are defining API product, okay, how do you, sorry, yeah, how, what all things you will consider when you are designing, what all things you will consider. Okay, so first thing is that API product can be used to manage different level of access or uh, different level of risks. So for example, do you want to give for external, or it is for sorry internal, or it is for external? Is it going to be a read only permission, or you want to give update also? You are giving like a free, or it is paid, or it is premium, what kind of uh, uh, charging and all. So all these things you can consider, okay, when you are, so when you are designing the product. And product should be designed with consumer so in the mind. So you have to think from a consumer point of view, who, the people who are going to consume, okay, how they are going to what are kind of APIs would they require, okay, within a single product. When they want to subscribe, which all APIs they want to be uh, subscribed to, okay, and then you combine them together and build a product. So when you are doing the packaging, your package should be able to solve some specific problem, okay. And also sometimes, because especially in the big organization, okay, in the big organizations, what happens, there are different business units, right? So different business unit, different teams and all those stuff. But when you are exposing an API, or when we are creating an API product, so it should not be like you are restricted only to use APIs by team X and not team Y, because from a consumer point of view, right? When a consumer sees, okay, on the, for example, you have API portal or developer portal, okay, when any consumer comes, okay, and he sees that, he will not care, okay, first he will not understand, or he will not even care about your internal teams and internal departments, correct? For him, it is the API portal for the whole organization, right? So for the whole company. So he will think from that point of view. So when you are creating API product, so which team has built, right? The team uh, should not be a factor, or business unit, which business unit or which team has built API, that should not become a factor, okay, in creating your API product, right? So you, basically whatever is required, okay, whatever is required to make life easy for consumers, okay, all those APIs should be available, okay, and those could be combined to create a API product, okay. And another important thing is that the requirement over the time keeps changing, right? So there can be new kind of customer or new kind of consumers who might not need these APIs. You might need some other APIs, right? So different kind of consumer. So over the time, the requirements and the needs from the audience, the consumer, might change. There can be a different kind of consumer, or there will be or yeah, over the time you have to evolve and adapt, okay. Now another sometimes that I have seen people make this mistake is like when they are working for APIs, okay, they think like a project, okay, that okay, you build this API, it is done. But APIs are not like project, because thing is that product is a different thing than project. So usually projects have a completion date, products do not. You publish it there, correct? You create a product, you publish it, that product will be there forever till you manually decide to shut it down. It will be there, right? People will come consume it, subscribe, consume, and all those stuff. And product should be designed based on the business requirement. So there should be like some kind of business, okay, uh, which is there to be gained from the product, right? And product needs to adapt to the market need over the time. Obviously product adapt. Project is like you are done, it is done and dusted, you forget about it. But products need to adapt to the market requirement over the time. And obviously when we are dealing with APIs and where we are working in the field of APIs, we need to think from a product mindset. So we don't like create APIs only for one customer or one consumer, right? We think from a point of like how it can be type of consumer, not just one consumer, but category of consumers, or that kind type of consumers, right? So we have to think from a broad way. Now we will uh, take one API and we will take that example. Okay. So from a retail sector. So from a field of a retail sector, we will take one API and we will see how we can create API product and what are the ways in the for that example how you can create API products and all. Okay. So first thing, so here, let's for this example, let's see there is a company. That company sells household items, okay, at its brick and mortar stores, basically all the showrooms and all. It sends a lot of household items. For example, in India we have like DMart, right? DMart, or here in US we have Walmart or DMart, or so those kind of companies, let's consider that. Or here we have, yeah, Target and many other companies like this. So let's see some yeah, some big company which sells all the household item at its big stores, right? So there are a lot of stores around the world, okay. Then for that company there is an inventory team, okay. That inventory team is responsible for creating inventory tracking and restocking app. So within the company there is an inventory team which is responsible for creating an app, okay, to run their business. So for their inventory tracking and restocking, they're building an app for their team. Okay. So for their own team, within the team, they are building an app which will just do the tracking of inventory and restocking. Okay. And then for this app, okay, for this app there are two APIs. One is the inventory API. In inventory API you have two operations. One is view inventory, other is update inventory. So these are the two operations for inventory. and then there is a restocking API. In restocking API, you have three resources. So one is the view, then you want to place, okay, and then track restocking order. So there are three resources here. So total basically two APIs. Okay, within these two APIs, you have five resources. Okay, like this. Now they are building an app and they are also building the API for their app. Their inventory team builds an API. So now because this is the same team which is owner of the app, okay, and it is the same team which is owner of the API, correct? So the same team, it is internal to the team. So for that, they will create one product. That product will be like inventory product. In the inventory product, both of these APIs will be added, right? So within that product, both of these APIs will be part of that product. So because it is obviously it should be all access, right? They should be able to access everything. It is internal product. So that's what. So they will create a product, and that product will be assigned to the app, which is the inventory app, which is built by same team. Okay, so that is one product. Then over the time, okay, over the time there are other internal teams. So there are other internal teams who might want to view the data, who might want to access the data from inventory team. Now remember this, because inventory team is the owner, so they had the full access. But any other external teams in the same company, they should not be allowed to modify anything, correct? Only inventory team can do the modification things. Also other teams can only get the view access, okay, only the get calls on the view access. So what we will do is we will create another product, okay, inventory read only product. So in new product, okay, we will only add those get resources, only the get calls, okay, so they can only get a read only access. Okay, so that's why only get calls will be there. There will be no updates. Okay, so this inventory read only product can be used by all the other departments. So the other departments are the other teams who want to get access to inventory and restocking orders. They can get a view access so that they can check, okay, this is yeah, this item is present or not, or if there it is not present, yeah, what is the status of restocking, whatever, right? So only read only access, so there will be no update access. Okay, so this is the second product. Now see, APIs are still the same. So there are two APIs, these two, inventory restocking, total two API, five resources. Now for those APIs, one is the full access, one product that is full access. Other product, the second product that is created, will be only read only access with only get calls, right? Now over the time, so that is second, after the second product creation, over few more months, okay, after few more months, what happens, the company are like all the items are like very popular and everything. So what happens, some app developer, some third party app developer, they wish to create an app. So they are those external third party developers, they are creating app on their side, okay, where they just want to see if the item is in the stock or not. So because like if I'm an end user, correct? I'm end user, I'm an end customer. I want to purchase, I want to go to store and purchase. But before going to store, I should be able to at least do a search, quick search, if item is present in the store or not. If it is not present, there is no point in going to all the way to the store, right? So some third party developer comes up with idea. He says, okay, I will build an app. With my app, anyone, any non-technical person can go through, just check the status. Only check, okay, you enter the name of the item, and then I can do a status check that if item is present or not. At least they will get an idea if item is in the yeah, present is in the stock or not. Okay, that's it. So for third party developer, you can give that kind of access, but obviously you cannot give more access, right? So you can only give access to one resource, okay, one API. Within that API, only one resource, okay, that will just check item is in the stock or not, only that. Okay, it is just a stock check API. If item is present or not, if there is no need to make other call, because it is third party developer, you cannot give them full access or more access, correct? So you are only giving them access for one single API. The single API is to get the uh, uh, status if item is in the stock or not. Okay, So you create just that access and you give. So that is, so that becomes external product. Okay, so you will create this external product for your third party developers. Okay, external, yeah, all the external developers. Then after that, what happens is there can be partner companies, right? So there can be partner companies who might want to you know uh, make a API call, and they might want to check if item, first they will like to know if item is in the stock or not, and they might also want to know if it is not in the stock, then what is the status when it is coming back to the stock, right? So when, what is the restocking status? So for the partners, for what the partner companies, because those are the B2B, right, business to business APIs. So those are not like for third party developer, those are like a little bit more secure for partner companies. So for partner companies, you might want to get one more product. That product will have two APIs. One API is just to check if item is in the stock or not. Second, from the restocking API, when the, I mean, the status of the restocking, right? So when the item will be back to the stock. So still, originally you developed two APIs, five resources. Now with those two APIs and five resources, we are able to create the fourth product. So this is, you can name it as a gold product. So like for partner systems, give them gold partner system, gold partner product. And for any, the third party developer, right, the product which is for third party developer, you can name it as a silver product. So gold is like for partner, silver is like for third party developers, like this. Okay, so that way you can create. So you see, over the time, based on the requirement, so you development is done is only one time, right? Your development is done one time, that okay, you do the development and you you create the APIs and products and everything, and then using but based on the requirement, right, based on the customer requirement, you are able to create four different API products for different kind of consumer, right? So that is the idea behind API product. So based on the requirement, you can create multiple products to satisfy each kind of customers. Okay, any questions so far?
I'm good, Mani.
So one more thing, remember. So see, API is a technical grouping of resource, right? So API is designed by the API architect, correct? API designer, API tech leads, technical. It is like a technical grouping, right? So technical design.
Right.
API product is a business grouping of resources. So API product is basically designed by the business people, product managers, product owners, yeah, technical product owners, those kind of thing, right? So those kind of people, okay, they define the API product. So API product is a business grouping and API is a technical grouping. Okay,
Yep.
basically all the technically related things, create, user, update, user, which are part of the same entity, that will be part of user API. But obviously when you're defining a product, it can be user plus it can be some other also, right? So based on the requirement. So yeah, so now again, so here the top takeaways, as we saw, we need to adopt a product mindset, right? And we should package APIs to solve specific problems. And obviously, app developer will not care like which development team, which business unit and all is the owner. They will simply, yeah, uh, they will simply, what you say, subscribe to API, right? And then we should use the API product to manage the risk and obviously access and all that we just saw in the examples, and we should adapt to changes. So as I told, over the time, based on the different kind of users, you kept creating new products and all and utilize. Another thing is Apigee monetization. This is, I mean, it is not really a success, and most likely you will not work on this because, I mean, it is provided by Apigee, but very less clients use it because their Apigee monetization comes with a separate license. You pay extra money for this, okay, and there are a lot of configuration which needs to be done. So it is not many Apigee customers and all they do this thing. But yes, so thing is in Apigee API monetization, so it is a easy and flexible way. So Apigee provides this monetization module to monetize the API and to generate revenue for API. So based on the API, either you can generate revenue for API or you can pay to the developers. So for some, if you are, if a developer is making an app which is generating revenue for you, sometime you can share the revenue with the developers like this. Okay. So here, as part of this monetization, Apigee monetization module allows you to do sign up, setting up billing, process the credit card payment, okay, and access the monetization reports in the portal. So all, so in monetization there are two part. One part is on the gateway. So Apigee, you have to enable them. I mean, not you, but Apigee product team, they enable the monetization module on the Apigee gateway. That is one part. And then second will be then they will provide a Drupal module for the Drupal portal. So for if someone is using Apigee monetization and they want to um, apply that for the developers, right, the consumer developer, so they need to use the Apigee Drupal module which they have created for the portal. So for portal also, there are the second component is on the portal. So on the portal, you have to use Drupal portal only. There is no other option. So you have to use Apigee provided Drupal portal and enable the monetization module for there. So there for the consumers, right, for who are consumer, they can see their monetization reports, and even they can subscribe to the APIs. They can make the payment. All these things are handled by the Drupal module on the portal side. And on the gateway, obviously you can define your rate cards and everything and all. So yeah, so there are two components. One is on the gateway level, second is on the portal. Now, but before we talk about monetization, it is very important to understand, because APIs, not all kind of APIs can be monetized, right? So the question is which APIs you can monetize. So there is always a thumb rule. If your APIs are being used to build revenue generating apps, if you know that using this API people are going to build revenue generating apps, so means a developer is going to generate revenue, then you can monetize it. If it is not, if like it is giving you a indirect value, okay, if the APIs are giving you indirect value, in that case you can only uh, you can, I mean, you need to give it for free. So for example, like you have ticket booking API, store location API, product availability API, those kind of API, these are only adding an indirect value, right? So they are adding to the consumer experience, right? So we are building a consumer experience. They are more like just providing some additional convenience, right? Now, but here in case of paid ones, for example, weather data, people can build lot of revenue generating weather apps. They can do messaging services, all right, right? So SMS apps, email app, uh, your Google Map has, right? So Google Map, those kind of apps, right? So for maps and all. So or stock market app, right? So those kinds where you know that, okay, using my API, people are going to I mean, there is a chance that people can build a revenue generating app. So this lab we will do tomorrow. Okay, so right now just tomorrow we'll do this lab. So where we will do add a verify API key policy to the policy. Here in the proxy, we will create a product developer app and all, and we will do the security. And for tomorrow's lab, I mean, have you installed Postman? If not, then please install Postman. Okay. So because
Okay.
that lab will not be possible to test without Postman, so you will need a Postman to test it. Okay. So please
Sure.
just, yeah, please remember to install Postman sometime today itself. Okay. And then tomorrow we'll do the lab, and then we would need
Okay.
Postman.
Done.
Then there is this API product supplemental lab. So when you get time, you can after tomorrow you can do the supplemental lab also. Okay. So on your own. But now before that, we just cover few things. So there are some uh, slides. So in monetization, what you do is Apigee also allows you to create something called API package. So API product, so like product is a grouping of APIs, and package is a grouping of products. So in multiple products, you can create a package. Okay. So here, and each package, sorry, each product will be also be associated with a transaction recording policy. So here you have to specify what will what will constitute a successful transaction. So for example, based on like status code, is it status code 200, is that what, or Is it like success failure both can be considered as a for transaction and all those stuff. So based on the requirement you can define those kind of things. It will record the successful transactions, and then it will and then you have to associate with a rate plan. So you create a package, and then you suggest, okay, what will be the rate from for this package, and then you provide it to consumer, and developer will subscribe to your package, and it will subscribe to the rate plan. Okay. So here there are like Apg has multiple options for rate plans. So Apg allows you like a fee based rate plan, so where you can just have a fixed fees. So for these APIs you pay this one time fees, that's it. Either you can pay one time fees, or it can be monthly fees, right? So one time or monthly fees, and you can have like a prepaid or postpaid, both kind of options you can provide. Apg supports both kind of thing. And it will, yeah, from the portal it will allow people to, yeah, purchase and subscribe and all, and then they can pay the money accordingly. Okay. Then we have rate card. So rate card is like per API usage, right? Per API, or per 1,000 APIs this much, or 1 million API this much, more than one API between 1 million to 2 million, this many, this is the cost, like this. So you can define the rate plan based on the usage based. So per API call. So for these number of calls, so you can define per API call also, or a set or number of API calls, this much money. So that is the rate card. So rate card is like flexible, and it can be combined with revenue sharing also. Now revenue sharing, as I told you, so if a developer is making a call, okay, from his app, which is generating you revenue. For example, you have a payment API, and consumer is making a call to your payment API, and so obviously it is generating revenue for you, correct? Now, so because developer is generating revenue, so to give them more motivation, you can do a revenue sharing. So like whenever they are making like $100 API, $100 payment, okay, they are calling you API for $100 payment, you can give them, like for example, $1 or $2 as a in there. So that way it is like revenue sharing. So when developer is calling your APIs which are generating revenue for you, at that time you can simply, yeah, share one small portion of that revenue with the developer. It is more like affiliate or something, like kind of this thing. So these are all the rate plans available. Apart from that, you can do lot of notifications. So Apg allows you to set up your own notifications for like registering developer. There are like every time there are like multiple events. For each kind of event, Apg allows you to set up your notifications and all. And then you can also define a freemium. So freemium, as the name suggests, is free plus premium. So it is like a trial account, right? So for example, like you can define your trial API calls. So you can either say like, let's say 1,000 API calls for free. After that, you have to subscribe from one of the top three rate plans, above three rate plans, like this. So, or you can have it like for 1 month free, after 1 month, or 2 weeks free, or 14 days free, right? So you can define that trial kind of thing using freemium. So that way, either you can define a number of API calls, either like 1,000 call, or you can have a time based, like okay, give it free for 2 weeks, or less charge for this much time, 1 month, and all those stuff, like this. Or you can even combine them. So there, I 1,000 API call or 1 month, whichever comes first, right? So that way, and after that it will be paid. So after that you have to you will ask the consumer to subscribe to one of the paid products, like this. Okay, one of the paid ones.